the thing that a journalist must always do is get them to talk in numbers rather than in broad rhetoric. And it's at that point that suddenly the bullshit can kind of evaporate. Obviously, only once you've got them around the implications of climate change in terms that they can appreciate and find emotionally compelling, can you then start talking about the energy story. And I think the first thing they need to always be keeping in mind is the ultimate end societal objectives, I think, that are really important. And then, so one is cost, one is safety and reliability of our power supply. We just can't afford for it to go out. And then the third is the environmental dimension. Balancing those three dimensions and sorting out, well, when someone's presenting an argument, how does that relate to those three components, and how do they use one and ignore the other one? So, for example, a network company will always pay up for reliability. Do you want the lights to go out? And that's their way of, they know that they can get you to worry about that. But then you say, well, actually, cost is our other dimension. So you're saying, so reliability, you have to ask them the question, so what improvements will we get in terms of reliability? How many hours less outages or blackouts will we have as a result of your $3 billion expenditure? So I think the key thing for journalists is, particularly dealing with this issue, is a comfort with numbers and a focus on numbers.
I think what's happened in recent times is a strong tendency to just report the specifics of what somebody said or the specifics of what happened, and not interpret that in the way for the readers or for the viewers or for the listeners. And that seems to me to be abrogating the fundamental role of media, which is to be able to not just communicate the full story. And the media is in an amazingly strong and I would think privileged position to be able to do so. But it's a pity that at the moment it seems that's really hard to do. And I would simply implore the journalists who are working in this area to try and find the space to synthesise the different views and put them in a way that people can better understand. Because it seems to me that would be the most valuable thing that the media can do in relation to things like changes in electricity and climate change. And what's really interesting, the most interesting stuff in this space is why two ostensibly sensible, clever, intelligent, rational people have got quite opposite views on a particular issue. And exploring that and how they could be accommodated, again, I think is one of the roles of the media.
When you overshoot in a market, prices go down because supplies increase. When you overshoot and it's regulatory asset base, consumers pay for it and keep on paying for it.
We've got new technologies being developed in much shorter times now, and we've also got policy change happening quite quickly. We've just seen it in all of the states of Australia. A carbon price come, and 2 years later the carbon price was repealed. And investors need to actually work around that uncertainty. And so I'd suggest to you that it's the uncertainty that's feeding in, that's the issue for the industry to deal with, and being aware of that as a journalist could help you to sort of get to the nub of issues, because it's the uncertainty, it's a risk to investors, it's a risk to the industry. The innovative parts of the industry will find it as convert that risk into an opportunity, and others will see it as something that leaves them behind maybe. So it's a very competitive environment.